Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana Market update video. Today is Thursday, the 15th of August. We're going to kind of cover everything market related today. Talking about some sealed stuff, some singles, some EV, all sorts of stuff. With that being said, I do want to I was talking to my friends yesterday, and I just wanted to give a shout out to Ravensburger for how well they have handled the release of Shimmering Skies in really every set. I love their model that for 2 weeks, the only place you can get this product is through LGS's. I think that that is so paramount to their success and the health of this game and the ecosystem of LGS's being rewarded, being able to sell their product, us as consumers going and supporting them, whether that's just buying product and leaving, buying products, sticking around in the store, buying singles, whatever it is, kind of building the community, building the environment. Like I said, when we went to the LGS to open Shimmering Skies last Friday, there was more people than there had been the previous sets, and you can just tell that it's growing. You can tell kind of the excitement. So shout out to Ravensburger for implementing a strategy that really rewards LGSs. When you hear about people like Rudy and other people who just kind of, I've narrowed it down that it's mostly just the Magic community, honestly, that really hates Lorcana. And that's probably honestly a lot spurred in this YouTube space from Rudy because he has so much disdain for Ravensburger. But like his whole argument in all of the videos he makes about Lorcana is that Ravensburger doesn't care about the LGS, and he's kind of salty that he doesn't have it. It would appear, and so I just wanted to. I mean, they're literally doing the exact opposite of what he says. I think he's got his kind of blinders on to where he can't realize that. But I just wanted to give Ravensburger a shout out for how well they are positioning these products with LGSs. Because like me and my friends were talking yesterday, and like an LGS for me, the closest one is about 30 minutes. But in between me and the LGS, there's like 20 targets that I could go to. And so it would be nice. Like I would probably go pick up a couple of boosters if I could from Target while me and the family need to get some stuff. But at the end of the day, it's not available till next Friday. So I'm probably going to take another trip out to my LGS to get some more packs to open because Shimmering Skies is in such a good spot from a value perspective right now. A lot of the playable cards are rising. They're kind of continuing to trend up. And if you're able to open product now at a decent rate and then sell any playable singles and things like that before next Friday when it is available for big retail and there is going to be an influx of supply, we're kind of in a sweet spot where we can open some product and see some decent returns, build our enchanted collection like we've kind of done in previous sets, sell the playable cards, and then kind of go from there. So that's where I personally am sitting out with Shimmering Skies right now. I really want to get my hands on some more product open to then sell the singles and go from there. So that's kind of what we're looking at for Shimmering Skies. But I just want to give Ravensburger a shout out. It's really, really cool that I have to go to an LGS rather than just go to Target to get this product for the next 8 or so days, simply just for them growing the game and building the ecosystem. So shout out to Ravensburger on that. With that being said, guys, let's get into some of the pricing stuff. We have the first chapter sealed case pulled up here. So 4 first chapter booster boxes. Right now, the cheapest you can get it is $907 all in. Now, that is, from an unverified seller that only has a 98% rating. So if you go down to $97 or $907 for our first reputable seller, our verified seller, 100% satisfaction, and they are at 908 for the case. I would ignore these two sales here for 499 and 499. I would guess that someone probably, and 489, someone probably put a set 2 Rise of the Floodborn case in this particular listing. You can see that there hasn't been a ton of volume, guys. 814, so yesterday a case sold at 903. Apart from that, it's kind of around the 800 to 900 mark. It seems like we're kind of at an impasse right now of not a ton of volume buying an entire case, not a ton of sellers really willing to go below 900. So that's kind of your price point, 900 market rate for TCG player for a first chapter booster box, or sealed case rather, booster case. Now I will say, if you look back even just a couple of weeks ago, we're up around 900. We had the set champs kind of restock, dropped it down to 850. Looks like was about the lowest, 835, 834, and then it's now back up to 900. So if you look at it from that time frame, then it's like a $70 ish increase just over the last couple of weeks. But at the end of the day, 900 is kind of where it's been for months, to be completely honest. So we're kind of in, once again, with anything first chapter related. As we hop over to the individual box, we're just in that lull of, are we going to get another restock when the set 5 set championships happen. If so, then we're probably going to see the 220s again. If not, then we're probably going to see the 300 sooner rather than later. So we just kind of need to see what that supply looks like. I am very, man, if we could see the future, this whole thing would be a lot easier, because I really struggle with, especially now that I'm playing the game more and more than I ever have. I play several times daily via webcam and with different friends and whatnot. I'm deeply entrenched in it, and I see the other side a little bit of, like, if someone new came to the game and they wanted to build like a Ruby deck, for example, and they wanted, if you're playing Ruby essentially or Red, you need the Maui card to make that set, or to make that color work. Like, you don't have to play, but like, he's kind of a key, and he's only a rare, right? A rare from the first chapter, and his near mint price is $14. So just to, if you want to play Red whatsoever and you're getting into the game, you're at $60 for 4 cards, and kind of a card you need to play that color, to be completely honest. And so I just, part of me, like, obviously, look, I have a large inventory of sealed first chapter cases. I don't want them to reprint the product. At the end of the day, I could see it. My hope is that they include like Maui, some like different version of Maui. Maybe it's like a promo, or maybe it's like it's in like some different version that's in maybe like a starter pack or something. Like, I hope they come out with some new products that don't necessarily kill the value of what's already out there, and they also don't do a full reprint. Because if they do another full reprint of the first chapter, I mean, you're talking a lengthening the time horizon of anything first chapter related by another, like, probably 2 to 3 years would be the minimum. So I hope they don't reprint again, but just, $60 for 4 cards, you need minimum 60 cards in a deck. Like, that's obviously, that would be the probably one of the bigger cards you would buy. But just, I don't know, that kind of scares me, that with how much they talk about the playability and how much they're looking out for the players. I know as collectors, we're like, well, then you're screwing us over, and don't you care? At the end of the day, they have always been player first. And so while I do not, if I had to bet, I would say I don't think they're going to reprint the first chapter. But just as these very playable staples from the first chapter continue to rise in value, even, like I said, are rare. Like, there's so many of those out there, but if you play Ruby, you need 4. Even if you play the game, you need 4, right? Because you might play Ruby at some point. So that Maui is going to continue to go up. I know I've got a couple extra that I haven't sold yet, because I really think that card could get to like $20-$30, even though it's only a rare. I think that as the game continues to grow, people get more involved and more entrenched in it. I think that they're going to want 4 of those, and I think that's a card that they could go up in the future. Which, once again, then we get to a point where, let's say it gets to $30-$40 for a rare copy. Is Ravensburger going to look at that? Ideally, they just have new cards coming down the line that kind of like work well with Maui, and maybe have a replacement, which I think is probably what will happen, and what I would like to see them do, rather than like do any sort of reprint. But I just want to set the stage for that. That, like, the interview that they did with the ICV2 website, it gave me a lot of confidence that they weren't going to reprint again, and I still believe that. But at the end of the day, they have never once said we 100% are not going to reprint. They just said that they felt really good about how they've managed supply and demand, and it's not on the foreseeable future. And that was in April. So now, we're 4 months removed from that. Prices are kind of slowly going up again for the playable cards in the first chapter. Now, the collectible cards, they're still lagging. You can still get some really good deals. From a collector's point of view right now, it's still an amazing time. Like, this is like I feel like we're in a fever dream with how cheap some of the prices are for some of these cards, for the collectability side of things. But at the end of the day, I want to, I guess, put that out there, that I still don't think they're gonna reprint anything. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't be that surprising to me. Hopping back over, or okay, it would be surprising, but I wouldn't be blown away. With that being said, hopping back over to the first chapter sealed booster box, we are sitting at $235 for a box right now. So kind of that same, $230-ish range. We did have some sell for $237. That was yesterday. With that being said, we do have our boy Peach Cravings. They're back. 64 boxes on the market. Now, these aren't listed as damage. I want to beat this person. They must have, like, just an unlimited. They're located in California. Just an unlimited an unlimited supply. I was reading some of the reviews there because the reviews have been going up very slow. Um, I love this seller. That's so funny to base base your experience with the seller off what you pull. It's like they didn't have anything to do with that. But hey, cheers to them. But with that being said, we're looking at 235 for the cheapest sealed box right now. This Peach Cravings listing, once again, going to be a significant holdup every time this person lists boxes. They have 64 at a time, it seems, kind of an unlimited amount. You can see the other listings 1, 2, 2, 4, 64, 1, 7, 2, etc. And that takes us up to about 245 in total cost. But this Peach Cravings listings, and they've moved it before. I wouldn't be surprised if they sold 15 or 20 here if it got to that point, and then they moved it up another $10 or whatever. But it's the reason why I wanted to show this is because, if you go to page 2, we're already up to 300. But there's so many listings in between here and there that, I mean, we're still talking about months away before it gets up to 300. So you have time. There's plenty of boxes available at this particular price, like the 240 range. I think we're going to be here probably until the next set champs, and then I really think that's going to be kind of the pivot point of, because at that point the restocks you can kind of assume are dried up. And so then it's either, are they going to reprint or are they not? And people are going to speculate that they're not, and then it's kind of go from there. It's going to be that ongoing game until, if they came out today and said we're never reprinting first chapter again, every box on this page would be bought. That kind of uncertainty is what's keeping it where it's at, in combination with the restocks that have happened. And so I just think that once the Mirabelle set championships are here and stores get additional supply, or they don't, that's going to kind of be the next catalyst. People are going to speculate, okay, maybe it's done being printed, and then it either goes to the moon, or they say, not so fast, we're reprinting again. You got to think, guys, this set's only been in rotation for a year. That's not a lot of time. There's Pokemon sets that get reprinted 3 years after their release. So, like, don't get tied to this idea that they're not going to reprint again. I don't think they are, but at the end of the day, don't get tied to that, because it could happen. And then that lengthens our time horizon once again. Now, keep in mind, guys, the reason why they might have to reprint again for the third time is because there's so much damn demand, right? So we still have a really, really cool product that a lot of people want. A lot of people enjoy opening. They want to get the cards for their collection. They want to get the cards for the decks. It's a really, really good product, right? And so at the end of the day, that's a product you probably want to have a piece of moving forward. But I understand that not everyone can just take that, an additional reprint, take that on the chin, and then, add another, year or two, whatever it is, to your kind of time horizon there. That sucks. And so hopefully it doesn't happen, but at the end of the day, they got to make sure the game continues to grow, and having affordable playable cards is just a piece of that. Now, look, from a collector's point of view, I don't want them to print it again, right? All my first chapter Enchanteds, they've got plenty of supply out there, plenty of population, in my opinion, for the current demand. So I would like to see it dry up, but at the end of the day, I will be here whether they reprint or not. So, with that being said, getting into some of the singles, Mickey has seen a spike. This kind of continues to happen. He'll get up to like 1,300. Some more will get listed. It'll drop down to like 800. There'll be a buyout. So he's just kind of fluctuating around there. I would not pay $1,300 for that particular card. They are readily available. There's thousands of copies out there. I would not, while it is a first edition Mickey, and I think it has a lot of prominence long term, and it is a good card to collect, I would not pay $1,300 for it today. One card that I did want to shout out today is the Let It Go. So if you guys recall, we've been tracking the population of these trophy cards, and just to kind of reiterate, because we haven't talked about it for some time, I calculated the player count for each of the events that were announced for the challenge events. I then calculated how many trophy cards were going to be awarded at each event for each particular card, and then I kind of giving you guys that information as I have it, and then we're going to have to see what changes based on the pricing structure moving forward. So just to reiterate, these numbers that I'm going to give you are based on if they used these trophy cards like the Let It Go, which we know what they've done thus far, but we're kind of prognosticating what's going to happen. I have it for Atlanta, Lille, Chicago, Bochum, Fort Worth, Italy, Toronto, Vegas, Birmingham, and Seattle. So the 10 challenge events that were initially announced. Now we had most of those, pretty much every event thus far had the 2048 player cap, except for Chicago. That one was only 1024, so that one had less trophy cards than the others. But at the end of the day, there's in total going to be about 19,456 players at these tournaments, assuming all of them sell out, which so far they all have. The game's only growing, so you can. I feel comfortable forecasting that is going to be where it ends at. So just under 20,000 total players. Now the reason why that number is important is because that tells us how many Dragon Fires are going to be in existence. So we'll just hop over to the next page real quick just to show you guys in case you aren't familiar. And it's getting down in price because there's going to be so many available. But let's see here. Is it even? Where's it at? Dragonfire is really getting down there. I'm curious. I mean, so and they probably knew this was going to happen, but it's currently at $60. This Alt-Art Dragonfire right here. It is given to everyone who plays in the challenge events. Like I said, there's going to be 10 in total, 20,000 or 2,000 people at each one. Puts us at nearly 20,000 copies in total of this card in existence. Right now it's sitting around $60. I think this is probably like a $20 to $30 card when it's all said and done, just simply due to the supply. It's an awesome card. I would definitely want to have a playset of it because it's just a really cool alt art. But there's going to be a significant quantity of them out there. So $60 is probably fair for that. But it just kind of depends. Like this, you can see here. Bill Guns Gaming, they have 15 available at 60. So there's just plenty of these out there. They are selling every now and then, but I think this is a $20 to $30 card. That would be my target price point. If you get a playset for like 80, I think that's probably a good deal. Now, going back to the first page and looking at the Let It Go, this card was selling for 1,000 very consistently. I think someone even paid 2,000 for it when it initially came out. I was kind of saying like, hey guys, we need to wait on this. It's the same story as every other initial release. Like, just don't FOMO in. We're gonna be fine. 945, 999, 900, 900, 750, and now we're down below 692. Same person here, Bill Guns Gaming. They have 5 available, and no one's biting at 692. This is going to be a sub $500 card at some point. Now, long term, with all of these trophy cards, I think they're going to be great holds. I think they're going to be great purchases and great cards to add to your collection. But to give you like a rough number here, the Let It Go is the top 128 is what it's awarded to, and I forecast that there's going to be about 1,200 of these in population for kind of at its peak. Now, this is assuming that they don't use these cards for any challenge events beyond Seattle, which is the last one slated for this year, October 26th. And then we get into Continentals, and then we get into the World Championships. So, assuming that they don't use them at the Continentals and they don't use them at the World Championships, it would end at 1,200. Now, we need to see what they announce for the prize cards for the Continentals and the World Championships to see what's going to happen there. We know, like, they announced the whole new world trophy card that's going to be at the World Championships. We just need to see what's going to happen overall. I think they're going to do new ones, but I don't know that for a fact. And so these numbers will go up in terms of total population if they continue to use them. Right now, I forecast Let It Go at about 1,200 copies that are going to be all said and done. I'll obviously let you guys know if that changes and they continue to add it to events. But 1,200 is not a lot, right? When you think about the total popularity of the game, they've sold over 1 billion cards in the first year. 1,028 Let It Goes is not a lot. It's a very playable card, and it's one of my favorite artworks in Lorcana thus far. I think the card is it's just an awesome card. And so definitely want to get my hands on it. I'm targeting sub 500, and then we'll kind of see from there. But I would definitely recommend holding off on this. Like the person who bought on 812 for 750, like you're gonna be able to get it for a lot cheaper than that. So I would hold off for now. Plenty sellers here have 4, 5, 2. They're going to be ready and available, especially as they continue to have the events. We have Toronto in a couple weeks, then we have Vegas, then we have Birmingham, then we have Seattle. Like that's an additional 500 that are going to hit the market, right? So kind of let this stuff flush out, and we'll see when we can acquire it. Right now is not the time. In an opposite vein, obviously Stitch is one that I've been saying for a while is a buy now. It's hung out around 300 for some time. The lowest near mint is almost 400. For a near mint copy, it looks like you can get a near mint for 370, 380, and then one even sold. So they were down for around 300. They got bought up, and now they're up at around 400. It looks like, give or take. So that's where you're at for a Stitch. I do think the Stitch is a buy. It's it's kind of one of the Cinderella from set 2 and the Stitch from the set champs are two of like the staples of my collection. That's a card that I'll have multiple copies of. Because they're very collectible. There's not going to be a ton of them out there, and they are very, very hard to grade. So those are two of the cards here between Cindy and Stitch that I think are fantastic buys. But really, apart from if you're looking to grow your collection as efficiently as possible, like I am, then the things that I would avoid right now would definitely be the trophy cards that are happening at the challenge events. Things like Stitch, I think, make a lot of sense to go ahead and buy now. And then I would avoid Shimmering Skies like Enchanteds and things like that, because we're going to see a huge influx of supply. They are going to drop, except for like maybe one Enchanted. I think the Clarabelle might make sense to go ahead and buy now. This is one, and we'll filter to Shimmering Skies real quick. This is one that is seeing a ton of playability on the legendary side. So let's see if we can't track down the legendaries up to 35 here. 36 is the lowest listing, and there's only 10 available. So our 10 listings, there's multiple copies available, but you can see this card could get to 50 real quick, especially when you look at how much it's selling. This is today, guys, 8:15. This is today. An entire, it's 11 a.m. where I'm at. This is just today, and there's a full page of sales. So this is a card that could probably get to like 50 or 60 pretty quickly. It's a very playable card. And so then in turn, you think about the legendary. If it gets to 40, 50, 60, what's the Enchanted going to be at? Well, it's going to be at a lot more than 122. So I think this is one that if you're looking to make a quick like kind of flip or buyout like opportunity, I think the Clarabelle makes a lot of sense. There's been several even Enchanted sales today. A lot of Enchanted sales today. 123. These are all today, right? So we're up to 130. Most recently, someone came in and undercut it to 123. That'll probably be bought pretty soon. And then, this first page here, there's only 10 available, and we're already up to 140 range. So I do think this thing is going to run. If you look at some of the other playable Enchanteds, Prince Naveen, lowest is 210. And then you look at some of the ones from, I haven't filtered to Shimmering Skies, but you think about like the Diablo, you think about Maui, they're around like the 170-ish range, give or take. I think that's probably where Clarabelle is going to end when it's all said and done. And so I do think it, like that one at 122 specifically, makes a lot of sense. I will say that as someone, I hate discard decks. I don't think it's fun. I don't think it's a fun way to play the game. I personally don't intend to play it. Now, look, I'll if I change my mind, then don't hold me to it. As of right now, I have no intention to play the discard, but I did pull the Clarabelle Enchanted. That's what we got out of our case, and so I'm kind of at a juxtaposition. I've never sold a raw Lorcana Enchanted. I have only sold graded copies that I've graded, gotten 10s, and then sold so I could, use that money to then buy more Enchanteds. But at the end of the day, I think the Clarabelle might be one. It'll be the first probably raw that I sell, because I don't want to get it graded because it's so playable. So I want the raw copy to be available, and I don't think there's going to be a huge premium in the 10 because it is a very playable card. But at the end of the day, if it gets up to that, 200 mark like Prince Naveen is, I probably will part with it to then take that $200 to sell it to a player who wants to have a blinged out deck to go pick up maybe a Snow White that I don't have. I actually wouldn't buy Snow White because it's going to go down in price. But I would honestly probably take it to a set one Enchanted, and then and buy that, right, with the 210 that I got from Clarabelle. So just talking through kind of my process there. You can see some of the legendaries. Prince Naveen's up to 38, Mufasa's up to 32, Clarabelle at 38, Daisy Duck, a super rare that's up to almost 20. We have Robin Hood at 1250. We have Merlin at almost 10. So there's a lot of really, really playable cards. Anna at 9, Arthur 5, Jafar 5, super rare Madam Mim above 6. There's just a lot of very, very playable cards. Let's see, where's our first like common or uncommon? Pete, almost a dollar for an uncommon, is very strong. And then that's about it on that page. Let's see some of the other commons and uncommons. I could filter, but we have the library at 20 cents. And then, once we get down here, it's kind of irrelevant, I guess. But I say all of that to just show that there's a lot of playable cards and there's a lot of valuable cards in Shimmering Skies right now. And so our EV for a Shimmering Skies box today is $127.89. So basically 100. Oh, let's round up. We'll just call it a flat 130. Your expected value for a Shimmering Skies box is about 130 right now. Like my LGS is selling them for 119. So once again, if I can get a case for 480, open those 4 boxes, maybe pull an enchanted at that point, and then sell off the playable cards depending on how lucky you get. You get 4 or 5 daisies, you get a couple of Naveen's, Mufasas. You're kind of you could be in a good spot depending on how lucky you are, and that's the time that I want to open packs. Opening packs is so much fun. And adding cards to your collection is awesome. And whenever you can get this discrepancy where the expected value is at this, but you can get the box for this, similar to like in the same vein when the Amazon dumps were happening for Into the Inklands, and you can get an Inklands box for 85, but at the time the expected value for that box was like 112 because the Robin Hood and some of the Enchanteds, etc. Like, yeah, that's when you want to open product. That's when you can open product, sell some cards off, and make that as cost efficient as possible. Anytime you open product, it's probably going to be a losing proposition, but I just like to set myself up because I do like to open product. I like to have fun with the game and with the product. So I like to set myself up to have that kind of cushion of, well, if I have decent luck and I hit some decent odds, then I'm probably going to come out okay on this. And that's kind of when I want to open product. And Shimmering Skies is in that point right now. With that being said, our expected value for the first chapter is 200. Floodborn is 112. Inklands is 104, and then Ursula is 75. So that leads me to my next point of, I would open if you're looking to open product right now, I would avoid Ursula's return, simply because, let me get all these filters off of here and just go back to Lorcana. I would avoid Ursula's return because I think the cheapest box right now is still at like 90, which is, even at 90 historically I would be in, but for Ursula's return, that's too rich for my blood. 94 is the lowest. And you can see like there's been a couple boxes sold today for 100, a couple yesterday. At the end of the day, I love Ursa's Return. I think it's a super fun set, and I will be looking to open more of it in the future. But I just feel really strongly that we're going to see cheaper prices right now. 99 is the cheapest that we got, basically $100, cheapest on the market. The expected value of this box is 75, and that's assuming that's the 1 in 94 enchanted odds, or 1 in 96 rather. So, I mean, if you don't pull an enchanted on this box, you're crushed. And even if you do, you quite frankly could pull an enchanted and still lose money on an individual box. And so that's why this box would have to get down to like 70 for me to want to open it, which I do want to open Ursa's Return. But right now, it makes so much sense to buy the singles that you want rather than open that, especially in Ursa's Return. I mean, Ariel's the chase of the set, and she's down below 175. It's the cheapest of any set to get a chase card. And then in the same vein, she's the only one who's even on the first page. The next enchanted from Ursa's Return is what? I mean, we're rolling. I mean, I feel like I'm crazy. There's no way. All right, let's filter to Ursa's Return. Because that was, I mean, she's the only one on the first page. Oh, Diablo, yeah, I looked right by Diablo. But then you're at Anna for below 100. So there's only 2 cards in the set that are even in the 100s, and there's none in the 200s. So this box is going to come down in price. I would definitely recommend waiting on Ursa's Return. You pretty much have to pull like a million Diablos to break even. It's kind of where we're at with that. There is someone that listed a bunch of troves that are empty. You get the box for $15, which is annoying because that it shows that listing on the front page. I will say I love the trove boxes for like storage. I don't know if it's gonna pick it up or not, but I just love that you can like all my playable singles that are all of my singles that are for sale. Like you can just fit 2 rows perfectly. It can hold a ton of them. I think in terms of just like storage, it's my favorite product. I've opened 10 thus far, not for Shimmering Skies, but just 10 in general, because I have like 2 for each set for all the cards I have listed, so I can find them easily and pick through them. And it works out so well between the 6 colors, having the 2 boxes per, makes a lot of sense. So I'm a huge fan of the troves. I'm not paying $15 for a box, but I do love the product. Okay, guys, I think that's going to be a 30-minute market update banger here. A lot of rambling. Hopefully, it was there were some good nuggets in there. I don't know. I always kind of just black out when I do these, and then look, and it's 30 minutes later, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? So, I don't do a lot of the YouTube stuff. I don't do the thumbnails for the algorithms with me, surprise face. Don't do the YouTube face. I'm just our YouTube voice. I'm just me. I'm dull. It is what it is, right? Pretty vanilla. So if you like the video, if you like the channel, if you don't mind liking the video and subscribing, I would appreciate it. But apart from that, guys, that is going to be it for today. 30 minutes. I think that'll do. So we'll be back with another video soon. I will talk to you guys later. Goodbye.